UFC 324. And before we get to the fights, I just want to say that it was great starting earlier. I heard some critique of the pacing, that they're just going to add more junk and everything like that. I could see the argument, but being that it was the first show on Paramount, I kind of expected that. Like, it took like a half hour, I think, to get the first fight started. But
they also started late because they canceled the fight, which we can talk about.
Right. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But I mean, overall, I think we ended at 12:30 was when the card finally ended. And I thought, honestly, that's not a bad night. That's the main event going all 5 rounds. So if that's as long as it gets, and some of these shows are going to end a little earlier when we have, more finishes, cool. But yeah, we also had some controversy. There was a fight pulled.
Yeah, Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez got pulled. So Alexander Hernandez apparently had an injury, and then it was leaked from his camp, and then there was some strange betting that was happening, obviously betting against Alex because he's injured. So, after what happened before, the UFC just decided, let's just pull the fight. Seems to me like you could just cancel all the betting on that particular fight, and have the fight, but I guess you also don't want a guy who's injured fighting. But
yeah, it's interesting.
He's an adult and can make the decision himself. He probably needs the money. Now he's not getting paid.
If it's like a criminal mentality, like, what I mean? Like, you had that fight, that controversy a couple months ago. So you would think if there's anything going on, whether it's the fighter or there's someone in the camp, you think you'd be like, fuck this, I'm out. But you always hear about like these petty criminals back in the day that would get caught because they just kept stealing over and over again for the company. I wonder if there's something like that going on where it's somebody's like, well, I got to make this money. They won't get it. And it's like, no, dude, if you're doing anything wrong, this is probably the time to stop right now.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. So that was a good fight that I was looking forward to that got pulled, but the card was still okay.
We had somebody pass out too. I don't remember who that was, but there was someone who passed out on the scale.
Oh, yeah. He was literally made weight, walked off the scale, and face planted. So unfortunately, I can't remember his name. But
I don't know if I was the only one thinking this, but I'm like, yeah, that's what you want on your debut for Paramount. Passing out.
And he had to be like carried down the stairs. Yeah, he looked like a corpse. Yeah, that wasn't. There's also a video of Michael Bisping. I'm sure. Yeah, you've seen it. He's commentating like, standing right in front of the stage, his back is to the stage, and he's like, well, yeah, you got to make weight, that's your job. He's like, it's really not that hard, as the guy falls on his face. So just funny timing for Bisping. But that wasn't a good look for Paramount. But
no, not a great start. But overall, this card was pretty good, I thought. I mean, we'll get to it, but what do you think overall? I thought overall it was a good card. Main event definitely made it.
Yeah, the main event being good kind of saved the main card at the end, because there's a lot of boringness on the main card, but prelims were pretty good.
Prelims were good.
It was a mid card, I would say.
Mid. I'll go with that.
Yeah, that's what the kids
are 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, I guess I would say I'd get, with the main event, 6, 5, 7. You know what I mean? Like, I thought
I'd say like a 5, because although the main event was like exciting, it was very sloppy and not super high level, which we'll get to. But
all right, let's get to these fights. Go ahead.
Yeah, other prelims, Nikita Krylov, he KO'd Modestas Bukauskas. Atiba Gutierrez actually went to decision. He didn't knock a guy out for a change.
Which is the one fight. Everybody's getting knocked out in the prelims, and I'm thinking, there's another one. And it looked like that, but nope.
Yeah, and then Umar Nurmagomedov fought Davison Figueiredo. Davison missed weight, too, I think, if I remember correctly. So
Umar did what Umar does, though.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he did what we all knew he was going to do. So let's move on. Main card, though. Arnold Allen versus Jean Silva.
Yeah, I mean, overall, not a bad fight, especially if you on most of these main card fights, I would say. This was probably the third best fight, I thought. Overall, I just thought Silva had better aggression and just more significant strikes. It wasn't like, this was like, I didn't walk away thinking, wow, Jean Silva deserves a title shot or anything after this. But I thought, he did what he had to do to beat Arnold Allen. And I'll let you break it down. But as always, after pay-per-views, I like to kind of think of, opponents for next. And it's an interesting dilemma because Lerone Murphy or Mosavar should probably be next for whoever walks out the winner this weekend. And Silva's only loss is to Diego. So if Diego somehow wins that fight, then I don't think you should fight him. So I know Yair had surgery and he's supposed to be back in 2026. So if the timing is right, I'd like to see Yair. I'd like to see him fight somebody with a name. Yeah, and I think that would be the best fight you could do for Silva. If that's not available, then maybe whoever's not going to get the title shot between Lerone and Mosavar, you could pair them up.
Yeah, I mean, Arnold just wasn't active enough to combat the impactfulness of Silva's, shots. When Silva landed on him, it made much more of an effect. It had much more of an effect than when Arnold landed on Silva. So that was really, I mean, it was a relatively close fight, but yeah, I would have gave Silva the win as well. So moving on, Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas.
Yeah, not a very fun fight, I thought, overall. I was kind of losing my interest in this one. I felt that Silva, who was, I thought was a better all-around fighter at this point in her career, I thought she did let Rose in the fight a little early on. Like, Natalia Silva was really necessarily applying the pressure she needed. But overall, I would say that's actually what won her the fight, was that she had better aggression and just had more pressure. Kind of with some of the Silva, more significant strikes, but just not as an exciting fight, which wasn't a high bar to beat. But that being said, Natalia Silva, I mean, it's clear. I mean, it's another former champion she's beaten. She hasn't lost in UFC yet. So, I mean, she deserves the title shot at Valentina. Will she beat Valentina? I don't think so at this point. I like Manon Fiorot's chances, I think, a little better at this point if someone's going to knock out. I mean, you don't know. But I just did. Overall, Natalia did enough to win, and she deserves a title shot. But I wasn't super impressed with this.
Yeah, similar fight to the first fight. So Rose kind of just got caught trying to set up too many traps and wait for counters. Like, she just got caught waiting too much. And Natalia just had more output. So, like you said, more aggression. That's basically what won her the fight. Yeah, I am excited for her in Valentina because I do think she's one of the few people that can pose a problem, but that wasn't her top level for sure.
Right.
Moving on, Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Derrick Lewis.
We talked about it in the group chat that night, I believe. It was mentioned on commentary. Big difference here. Waldo was just so much faster than Derrick. Kind of made me feel sad for Derrick because I think the thing with Derrick Lewis had a lot of success was he was never technically the best guy. He just had a lot of power. But he was capable of sometimes luring people in, and he's really was good at being deceptive for what he did. But Waldo, because of his speed, and I think Derrick Lewis over time, people are more cautious and get better reads on him. And I don't know. I mean, Derrick's still a fun guy. It's heavyweight. He's probably capable of knocking some people out, but Waldo Cortes definitely showed he was on another level here. I think he called out Curtis Blades. So I know that Josh Hokett, I think it was his name, the guy who did like the wrestling promo earlier tonight, wanted Waldo. Sorry, Josh, if I was Waldo, I'd stay away from you, and I would try to get that Curtis Blades fight. You probably deserve it.
Yeah, like you said, Waldo too fast. I think Derrick realized that, and I think he actually went down a little bit early. It has happened to him in other fights where, maybe a shot you don't think would put down Derrick Lewis puts him down. He gets touched a few times and he shells up. So unfortunately for him, he looked like that, and then when he was on the ground, he ate a bunch of real hard shots, real hard ground and pound shots. So he looked like he was feeling it afterwards. So yeah, I'm down for the Curtis Blades. I think that's a good fight for him. Tough matchup because the grappling, but he's fast. If he lands on Curtis, Curtis will go to sleep too. So co-main event, Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong.
I enjoyed this fight. It was obviously not as good as the main event, but it was my second favorite fight on the main card. Round one, I thought O'Malley won. I think he got taken down at the end of it, so it wasn't a super eventful round. Because I know some people thought O'Malley was down 2 rounds going into the third round. The commentator team didn't, but you can see people on Twitter, some of the other fighters thought that O'Malley was down 2. And I was like, I guess that it really depends on how you call that first round. Because Song Yadong definitely did enough damage to win round 2. To going into round 3, I thought he had the momentum, but O'Malley really turned it on round 3. And Song Yadong was really wearing the damage too. He had the bloody mouth and everything. And O'Malley just looked hungry, like a guy who wanted that spotlight, who wanted that title fight. Just wasn't able to put away Song Yadong, who is durable and very tough. And yeah, I mean, if you're O'Malley, he said it, he wants that title shot. And he's also, and props to him for saying that if Merab wants it, he deserves it. I noticed nobody's mentioning Umar because nobody probably wants to see Umar get that fight because it's just not the most exciting style. If Sean doesn't get Merab, then you probably, if he doesn't get Jan, then you probably match him up would an Umar or a Corey Sandhagen?
Corey.
Yeah, Corey would be the fun fight. I just don't know what you do with Umar at this point. He's just gonna keep
Cut him.
Yeah, cut him and send him somewhere else. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I'd like to see Sean actually get the title shot because I'd like to see that fight with Jan again. But if not, Corey's a great fight too.
Yeah, I mean, Song was fast and explosive like we thought. O'Malley good with the range. His countering, his accuracy when he counters he might be the best. It's so impressive. So he landed that knee on Song and got the blood all over his leg or whatever near the end of the fight. Yeah, it was impressive. So I think he did just enough to win the decision. I thought it was a good decision, and I was glad to see him super happy about winning. Really grateful. That was nice. Feel bad for Song, but yeah, I want to see Corey and Sean next. Main event here: Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett.
What a fun fight! It's funny. I got tired towards the end of the day, and I actually decided to put it on my phone. And I dozed off during the introductions, and I woke up in round 2. I ended up rewatching the whole fight anyway, but round 2, I saw Justin almost finish him, it looked like. And then round 3, Paddy turned it on, and I thought he was going to finish Justin. And then round 4 and 5 was both very exciting. I think Justin, I thought, won both those rounds. But yeah, fun fight. Paddy really showed his toughness. He really did show the guy could take a shot. I heard some question of the game plan. Probably should have gone with more takedowns. I would agree with that, but just based off the takedowns I saw him attempt, I don't think it was going to make much difference. I just thought at this stage of their careers, Justin's just a better fighter. He showed that. I think we thought that kind of going in, but we also believed that there was just something about Paddy. It was his time, and he was going to find a way to make it work. That wasn't the case. I'm not upset about that. I'm glad Justin is going to probably get a title shot, one more title shot before his career end. I'm glad he's got 2 interim belts, a BMF title, and all that stuff in his career because this guy, he's a legend. And just to see him, go out there and get another main event victory, he deserves it. Good luck with Paddy. I'm sure he's going to be back. This guy does not look like he's going to quit. And to me, there's no doubt about it. Justin and Ilya should be next. I can't see what else would happen unless Ilya's going to be out for a lot longer. Then you could do a fight with Armin, and you either make Justin the champ or they fight for a vacant title, however you play that out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said, so I'm just going to add on to that with I think the game plan for Gaethje was what made the difference. I talked last week about how I thought Paddy was going to fight similar to the way he did against Chandler, where he was going to stay at range and kick the legs and land counter shots and stuff. Well, Justin didn't give him that opportunity because he put so much pressure on Paddy. He backed him up to the cage and got inside the range that Paddy wasn't comfortable with. And other than his knees up the middle, Paddy's striking was so ugly. It was so hard to watch. He was throwing these clubbing right hands. I was watching the fights with a buddy of mine who is a boxer, he does boxing, and he was struggling through he was really struggling watching it. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the takedown thing because I had that in my notes as well. It was clear in the game plan he wanted to strike, and I don't think that was a good idea going into it, obviously. But then when he went for the takedowns, it didn't ever look like he was going to take down Justin Gaethje. So he's got room for improvement for sure. And then as far as Gaethje, he needs to be another level higher than that. I mean, even he beat up Paddy pretty bad, but that performance is not going to get it done against Ilya. He'll be in big trouble too. So, different fights, different styles and everything, but he would have to be a lot more technical and a lot more defensively sound against Ilya Topuria. So I'm happy for Justin now.
I heard someone say this on another show. I think it was Hawani, and he had somebody on his show. I forget who it was, but it was does Justin, he beats Paddy and he's one of the best in the world, but does he beat Ilya? And he's like, no. Does he beat Armin? It's like, no. And then it's this Armin, or who wins between Armin and Ilya? And they're like, I don't know. And it's that's really the 2 best fighters in this division right now. Could Justin catch anybody? Dude, with that kind of power and, this division being what it is, there's always a chance. But I don't go in there believing that after this performance that Justin has anything more than a puncher's chance with somebody like an Ilya, who's just shown as the best in the world. And it's probably one of the hardest hitters too. So it's not a great puncher's chance at that too.
Yeah, I'm with you.